It's a regular day for you at the gym. You go in, ready to do your thing. You're about to get under a squat or a bench or whatever movement, and all of a sudden, oh my God, you feel pain. It hurts. It's either sharp or it's dull. Whatever it is, you know it doesn't feel right. And getting injured happens to everyone. It's pretty much impossible for someone to go through their entire lifting career or just anything in life without getting injured. Injuries happen to everyone. There's a day where I walked in to go for a squat and I just felt something shoot up my back. I couldn't move, could barely go to work. I was literally on painkillers for the next 3 days just to allow myself to do regular people things. So there was a period after that for 3 or 4 months where I couldn't squat, where I couldn't deadlift without pain. But here I am, pain-free, squatting, deadlifting more than I ever have and better than I did before. First thing you need to do, step back and gain perspective.
I thought it was going to be hard.
Injuries suck, bro. It hurts not being able to do the thing that you want to do and there's an obstacle in the way. But you have to realize obstacles are there for a reason. Most people would take a break from the gym after an injury. They'd probably take 4 to 6 weeks. They go see a doctor. They'd say, stay away from the gym for 4 to 6 weeks and then go back to it. Oh, my shoulder hurts. I can't work out. Oh, my knee hurts. I can't work out. That's bullshit. It's holding you back. Everyone gets injured. Injuries happen to everyone. That doesn't mean you gotta shut down everything. You gotta look at the situation you're presented, understand it, and find ways to get through it. What movements aggravate it? What movements don't aggravate it? What is really your goal? Is your goal to gain strength? Is your goal to build muscle? If your goal is to build muscle, you don't need to squat or deadlift to build muscle. You can do other things that facilitate that. If your goal is to become a powerlifter and you really care about improving your squat, we'll find other ways to improve your squat. Chances are, if you're watching this video, there's so many other movements you can do. One of the best ways to find out things you can do is to look at the movements you want to do. So for example, if you hurt yourself shoulder pressing overhead, standing overhead press, and you want to go back to standing overhead press, go into Google, type in standing overhead press regressions. It's going to give you a million results of exercise that you can do leading up to the standing overhead press. You can do this with any exercise. So find the level where you're at. If you're unable to do standing overhead press, maybe you could do dumbbell press. Maybe you could do a Z press. Maybe you could do lateral raises. Maybe overhead pressing isn't what you should be focusing on right now. Maybe it's horizontal pressing. Maybe it's working on your triceps. So find the things you can do that can still take you toward your goals. Identify what you can do. Stop focusing on what you can't do. Second thing you need to do is evaluate what went wrong. And in the gym, a lot of things can go wrong. There could be too much fatigue. You could be very stressed out. You could have been using improper form. You could have been using weight that you weren't ready to use yet. And that's a big thing for a lot of people. Not using the appropriate weight, whether it be too high or too low. It could also just be a random injury. Sometimes shit happens. But most oftentimes, it usually does come down to how you perform the movement, which is why I recommend you record your lifts and actually take a look at how you're performing them and compare it to either a YouTube video with a really good tutorial or ask someone who knows a lot about the movement that you're working on and you can send it to them for critique on your feedback. You can also DM me on Instagram with any of your form videos. I'd love to take a look. Once you realize what exactly went wrong, whether that be your form, lifting too much weight, whether that be stress outside of the gym, you got to take steps to fix it so it doesn't happen again. If it's form, for example, say your knees are caving in on your squat, focus on spreading your toes out and spreading those knees out during your other movements. And when you slowly regress back into your squat, it's important to maintain that posture so as you do the movement again, you don't get hurt again. If you're lifting too much weight, stop being a fucking dumbass and lift less weight. It's not about how much weight you can lift in a certain day. It's about doing this day in and day out. And if you're getting injured constantly because you're lifting too much weight, there is zero fucking point to even doing this. So check your ego at the door and lower the amount of weight you want to use. If it's stress outside the gym, whether that be work, school, life, family, friends, whatever it is, then you gotta find better ways to manage your stress outside of the gym. The gym can be a great stress relief, but when you're bringing in huge amounts of stress that you haven't really dealt with properly, that can definitely tax your body and put you in situations where you get injured. So learn to manage those things. For me, it was a combination of not utilizing the best form and also not bracing properly throughout the movement. So learning to brace properly through my compound movements, which I did during my Bulgarian split squats, which I did during my leg presses, which I did during every other movement that I could do while I was still injured, translated over to when I was able to get under a squat, whether that be heavy or light, learning to brace as I'm performing the movement so I don't get hurt again. The third thing you need to do after you've gained perspective, after you've identified what you can do and what you need to do, is to do those things.
Do it! Just do it!
Make the changes, but slowly. That's the key word. This is probably the step where 95% of people fuck up. They rush back into things. This is where I fucked up. This is the point where you slowly work back toward your goals. It gets really easy to think, oh, that last set was easy. Let me throw on 10 more pounds. Let me throw on 20 more pounds. Slow the fuck down. Do not rush the process. Take your time, especially with injuries, because having an injury that keeps coming back is the most annoying and worst thing to deal with as not even just a lifter, but as a human being. Injuries are horrible. It's about overcoming them. It's not about constantly dealing with them. You will get to where you want when you need to, not when you want to. So take the time to do things properly. Those are the 3 steps you need to be applying to get back after an injury. You now have the tools. It's up to you to use them.